Hey everybody, and welcome to this stream through of Evil Genius, with your host as always, Mah-Dry-Bread, and we've got Mandy with us.
Hey.
This is Mandy's first time with the game. I love this game. We're using the widescreen patch. It'll look a little bit weird in the beginning, but once we get into the proper gameplay, it'll look perfectly normal. Yeah, so we're live streaming this. I last played this like 4 or 5 years ago on stream, but looking back on it, that stream of it sucked. So we're just gonna do it again, because I'm less awful now, hopefully.
You are?
Yeah, maybe. This is on the Good Old Games version of the game, which means it comes with the British pre-order bonus of it, which means an extra henchman and some extra items. This is the widescreen patch with borderless gaming, so that it doesn't crash when I tab out, which is nice, because that's a problem. And Good Old Games version of the game also comes with the unofficial fan patch that fixes a lot of the issues that were left in the game. But if you have the Steam version, don't worry, just go Google Evil Genius unofficial patch, and you can just go download the unofficial patch. It's hosted on some fan site, I believe. And you know you're on an old shitty patch if when you boot the game, it doesn't say load and save, it says load save. And that means both loading and saving, which is just an incredible fuck up of the English language right there. That's how you know you're on a bad patch and you need to get the new one. Anyway, let's just hit new game. We'll go turn off video hints. We don't need them. Medium difficulty is fine. So, a lot of people don't know the differences, or that there even is a difference between the 3 starting geniuses you can pick. There's Maximilian, Alexis, and Shen Yu. So, I think the fan patch fixes this, but Maximilian originally didn't have his bonus work properly. Maximilian's bonus is that he pays 90% less money to eliminate possibilities in research. So research doesn't come in until, I'd say, 33% in the game. And it's a very, very good bonus, but it doesn't really come in handy for the first bit. Alexis, all of her minions lose loyalty slower, so you're gonna have less problems with people deserting. Shen Yu's is... I mean, pretty much everyone agrees Shen Yu is the best person to pick, and I think I'm gonna pick him because I usually do, is he's a master of global politics, which means that whether your heat goes up or down or whatever, it's always on a delay. The allied forces around the world will have a really delayed response to anything you do, which means if you were to do something that causes a shitload of heat on your island, the forces of justice are gonna take a lot longer to get to you. That's really useful, having that kind of time to prepare, because that means if you just blew it really hard, you can recall all your dudes around the world and get them back to your island before the forces of justice arrive. Whereas the other people don't necessarily have that luxury. The other minor thing the game doesn't tell you is your geniuses, as they walk around, they have an aura around them. That aura instills attention and loyalty in everybody near them. Maximilian's cone is medium strength, medium range. Alexis's is weak strength, large range. Shen Yu's is tiny range, high strength. It's minor, but there you go. Anyway, we're gonna be Shen Yu because he's basically the best leader. And he's got the coolest execution. If he executes a mini, he stabs him in the neck with a curvy blade.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Oh, and they all start with a different henchman as well. All of their henchmen are really good, and you can get one of the other henchmen later. But Maximilian starts with Jubei, I believe his name is. He's a samurai. He's the best melee combat henchman in the game. He's one of the few henchmen who's capable of 1v1ing most of the special agents and winning. So he's like pure combat. He's pretty good. Alexis has, I forget his name, but he's the giant afro guy with a magnum. He's the only ranged guy you can start with. He's pretty good. Worst abilities, but he has the highest rate of stealing money around the world in the game, so he's popular for that. And Shen Yu has Lord Kane, who I say is probably the best henchman in the game. Eli Barracuda, that's the name of the guy with the magnum. Lord Kane he's the worst fighter, but he's really good at gaining intel, and he has an ability he learns really, really early. where he can make any agent of justice immediately lose all information they had on you, which is really good for if someone breaks into your base and takes a bunch of incriminating photos, you use that and then escort them out of the building, and they go home with nothing, and it lowers your heat. So we're going with Shen Yu. Just once again, Shen Yu is a really, really good choice. All right, so we should be getting the opening cutscene in a second. Oh, man, the bitrate on it is really bad. It hasn't aged the best.
The witch doctor wants you to know that their dog does not hate your voice anymore. Congratulations.
Oh, that's good. All right, we're in the game now. So you can see the interface is a little stretched, but fine. But what's most important here is you can see we're way more zoomed out than you normally could be in the game. The widescreen is just the camera is zoomed out farther, which is so fucking convenient for scanning around the map. Like, you can see so much more than you used to be able to in the game. So I'm going to teach you a little exploit that's in the game. We're probably not going to exploit it because it's a little boring, but I'll teach you for if anybody, like, wants to have a really easy start, I'll teach you it. So, this early in the game, no enemies show up at this point. One group of enemies will show up soon, but literally only one group of enemies. Until you complete a specific objective, more enemies do not arrive. Is building a hotel actually useful? Very useful now that you can build a hotel outside of the base better, and you can also build hotel items in the base for a good front to the place, but I'll get into that more later. The fan patch helps with a lot of the worst mechanics of the game. For anyone who's new to the game, though, this is a Dungeon Keeper-esque base builder where we are an evil genius in a 60s spy thriller. We start off, this is the entrance to our giant, tropical island base. We have two ways that our people can go out and do deeds in the world, and that is the dock here and the heliport here. Which one they go to is random. And we start with a little shack outside that has a stack of all of our gold. This is where our money is kept right here. It has a physical representation of the gold, which means that people could steal that. And the briefcases here is for people who want to go purchase things. So to buy something, our minions would go grab the briefcases and then go to the heliport, and they would come back with the item. You can see our evil genius is here. He can't fight. Keep him safe. And yeah, but Lord Kane's right here.
Yeah, but his eyeliner's on fleek, though.
Oh god, on fleek. That's a thing people say now, isn't it? So, what I just did there, this is my minion menu where I can pick how many of each kind of minion I want. Right now I can only have workers. Workers are the guys in the yellow jumpsuit. They're the only people capable of building things. They can do all the basic stuff. They're bad in combat, but they can fight. They do all the grunt work around the base. What I just did was I went to the menu. I have a capacity for 5 minions. I have 3, so I said, okay, just get 5 workers. We have recruitment speed on the lowest, which is this meter here, which means I get 1 worker a minute, but they're free. Because we don't actually pay our minions. It's weird. So over the course of the next 2 minutes, we'll fill up on minions. You can see our minion count here. We can see our henchman count here, which is just the 1. Henchmen you get through special missions later. So, we obviously want to start building a base. A popular thing to do very early is until we unlock more rooms, we just make a tiny little mini base. That'll just get us through the tutorial stuff. So we're just going to make a little control room there. And we'll make a little barracks after it in the room next to it. Oh, and some of the enemies arrived right here. That's perfectly fine. As we kill them, we'll unlock the freezer room. And if any of us get hurt, which will hopefully happen, because that will unlock the infirmary. So, these are agents of justice. These are feeble investigators, which are the lowest rank of the least dangerous person, which is an investigator. They photograph things that are incriminating, and then they try and get home. If they get home with incriminating evidence, they raise the heat of your island, and then that whatever organization they work for will be more likely to send more dangerous troops to your island. Now, feeble investigators, I believe, are so dumb they won't even steal your gold when they walk by it, so they're actually no danger whatsoever. We'll just let them wander. So I just made these blueprints by right-clicking on the empty parts of the world and just kind of drug out where I want the blueprint to be. If we right-click on these, we can pick place objects, and we can pick objects for the room. Normally, you want hallways, you want doors between them and everything. Base design's a big part of this game. We just want an immediate tiny little room just to get things started. So just control panel and memory bank, because that's all we need to get a functional control room. And we'll click the little tag, so it's now going to be unpaused on construction. You can see the thing is highlit, which means that our workers are going to go deal with it. So you can see that worker right there is grabbing money to go and get the dynamite he needs to blow open the room and everything. So when we're in an early game like this, 73 viewers, we're so damn close. Yeah, we're at 74 now. Early game like this, all you're trying to do is meet a bunch of conditions before things get dangerous to unlock extra rooms so you can better plan out what you want your base to look like. You can make multiple entrances to your base, by the way. A popular spot to make one is right here, so it's near the helipad, so you're spending less time with your dudes running outside. But the more entrances you're going to have to your base, the better chance someone's going to wander in. So, up to you how you want to deal with that. 75 cookies are watching, is that what you laughed at? God damn it. We know that we'll never get above 71 because Mandy is here. Weird references. So I'm going to give you a little checklist as an experienced player on things that you want to do before you do too many missions. So we're just going to haphazardly throw a couple things around that room, just, again, to meet requirements. Well, we wait for them to go do that. So you want a henchman to get hit at least once so that you get the infirmary unlocked. You want to kill a guy, which you're going to do anyway, so that you get the freezer unlocked, because that's where you hide body bags. You want... What else do you need? You want to get your power usage into the yellow section, which means you're using like 80% of it, and then bring it back down. That unlocks the power generator room, the power plant, which is really, really important. And you want to get that to that point and then back down very quickly. Because when you're using 80% of your power or higher, everything that uses power will start, or rather it's your generators. Misspeak. Your generators will start getting damaged over time. If you don't have technicians yet, which we have not yet unlocked, then that will mean that you start having to deal with generators fucking exploding, and they're really, really expensive. So don't do that. Alright, so we just unlocked world domination. This is the world map. It's the world in the 1960s. This is an odd base design. It's temporary. We're changing it later. It's to save on costs while I unlock a few things, and then we rebuild it in a more sane way later as we unlock more things. This is the world. It's broken up into sections and colors. There are 5 different colors. Those are the different groups of the world. They're the intelligence agencies that control different sectors. So Patriot controls the Americas, like basically all of North and most of Central America, as well as Japan and Korea. Anvil does most of Asia. Saber does Europe and all of the British holdings. And Hammer does all the communist states. Smash does most of Africa, Middle East, and South America. Each one has their own advantages, disadvantages, their own super agent, stuff like that. You're mostly going to get Smash early on because they're the weakest government agency. They do the Middle East and Africa. And South America. So this is how we get money in the game, is we send people out in the world to steal. This is also how we gain infamy. You can see we have 0 notoriety. We are harmless. As we gain notoriety, we will get a higher limit of minions, and we will get more things available to us, but things may also get more dangerous. So you can see these little glowing dots here are acts of infamy. For instance, this one that we start with, earplug. Operatives have uncovered a Smash listening post and staging area for covert operations. It appears that this cell has effectively curtailed criminal activities in the region. Destroying this operation will send a clear message to the forces of justice. A new power is rising and no pesky do-gooders are going to stop it. And a lot of these are comical. Like, one objective you get later is to bomb Nashville, Tennessee into oblivion to save the world from country music.
I mean, can you blame them?
And another one is you go to Alaska, you send a bunch of your guards to Alaska because you know that a CBS special on tending to baby seals is gonna happen. And so you sneak a bunch of your guards into the background of the camera crew to start clubbing baby seals.
Nice.
You villain! I love this game. So for anyone who's new to the stream or new to this on YouTube, Mandy is here as the chat liaison. If you guys in the if you guys in the chat want to ask any questions about the game or pass on any messages to me, Mandy's gonna pass them on for me. I can see the chat too, it's just I'm gonna be pretty preoccupied with the game, because as we get farther in the game, it's gonna get more and more hectic. Okay, so for completing those first few objectives, we got up to 10 minion capacity, 11 because we have a locker. Lockers are a very important thing you can make in the barracks. Every locker you make will make it so you can have one more minion. So a popular thing to do is have just rooms of lockers, but they do take up a lot of room to do that. The beds are so that people can get their endurance back at night. If we look at the minion analytics, this page. This will tell us everything we need to know about the minions as a whole. On the island, we have 6 friends, which is all of the friendly people, 4 foes, and you can see the minion stats. Now this is overall our stats. Blue is loyalty. If loyalty goes to 0, then the minion will desert and sometimes steal money on the way out. Loyalty goes up through having loot that you've stolen in the world presented around, or by having them go near your evil genius. So keep them in a place that people travel through a lot early on. Health is their health. If it goes to 0, they die. Smarts, it gets drained whenever they're doing something like thinking heavy. If that gets fully drained, then they just kind of stand around in a stupor for a while. Attention is how bored they get. Same thing, give them entertainment and it'll go back up. And endurance is how tired they are. Giving them food and sleep and exercise will help with that. Hey, Morgan. It's a Fantasy Gore FX in the chat. Mandy, you should probably follow her. You'd really like her stream. She's the person I told you about who does she does streams of making practical effects for gore and stuff. Zombie makeup and, stuff like that. I think you'd really like her stream.
Yeah, I do a bit of that too.
Yeah. I don't know how easily you'd be able to catch it just because she's Australian and time zones are a bitch, but check out her stream. It's good. Right. So we can see our objectives here changed up a little bit. We've completed a few more. So right now we need to eliminate the investigators on the island. Where are they? By the way, if you want to move the map faster, a lot of people don't know this, you can use WASD to move around. You can drag at the edges of the screen. You can also, if you do WASD and dragging at the edge in the same direction, you go extra fast. You can also click on the map, but you can only click so often. There's a long cooldown, so I tend to prefer this. There we go. For what year is this game? I believe it was 2005 or 2004. Alright, so I actually want some minions to fight this guy because I want one of them to get hurt so we have an infirmary. Because henchmen getting hurt doesn't count, because henchmen can heal themselves. If a henchman runs out of health, they don't die, they just get knocked out for a while. A henchman can only die if a super agent kills them 3 times, then they're dead for good. So you gotta be really careful when super agents are around, which don't show up until you have higher notoriety than we have.
Right.
Alright, so what we want to do right now is just get to the next objective. So what we're going to do is going to right-click a guy, hold down Control, and left-click Kill. By holding Control, you tag the entire group of them rather than just the one person, and we're putting a kill tag on them. So what we're going to do is run our henchman out there, because a henchman is a guy you can directly control if you want to, whereas minions you can't. I'm going to say gather minions, so some minions nearby will come running. Nope, none of them within range, that's fine. But if I, boom, do that, some of them should get off the computers and start coming on over. And I want them to run out there and get in the fight. Okay, it should happen any second now. I just want to make sure that at least one of my minions gets hurt.
Are we doing a low or high heat run once?
Low heat, definitely. Definitely low heat. There we go, we got the freezer unlocked. I think none of my guys are hurt enough to get it yet. Oh, right. These guys can't because for tutorial purposes, the first group of enemies... for tutorial purposes, the first group of enemies will only deal... they will only deal endurance damage, so you can't actually die from them. Okay. And we're just gonna make a tiny little freezer that will relocate later, just so that we can put away the bodies. So by doing that objective, we also unlock the armory, because our next objective is to interrogate somebody. And that will unlock the valet, which is the first alternate class. After we do that is when people can actually come after us in the world. So this is the exploit that some people use, and we're not going to do it, but this is what it is so that people know. The exploit is you can, at this point in the game, go around and steal as much money as you can in the world and plot as much as you can in the world, because the agents of justice will never arrive because you're not done the tutorial yet. If you wanted to right now, you could take every minion you have and go put them in a really, really rich area, stealing money, and leave the game on overnight and come out with max money. Now, after you finish the tutorial, if the heat is still high, if you don't give it enough time to start to dissipate, you will get bombarded with really tough guys, but you'll be rich as fuck. So you can do whatever you want with that. Have you heard of Duskers? It's a game on Steam described as tedious thriller RTS game. I don't think I've heard of it. DM it to me on Discord and I'll check it out later after the stream. So, one thing you can do here is... Oh, and by the way, these body bags, you really want to put them in a freezer, because if they're not in a freezer, then they have an aura around them where they sap people's attention and loyalty. So you really need a freezer. You can see they're automatically moving them all into the freezer. If they're in the freezer, then they don't have that negative aura. Of course, you want the freezer to be in a place that investigators aren't going to just walk in, because obviously body bags are something they're going to photograph to get heat on you for very obvious reasons. And body bags do eventually disappear when in a freezer. It just takes a long time. You want to have a lot of body bag racks because then you can carry more of them in an area. In fact, I'm gonna manually set these to be moved onto the rack, because I believe they go way faster in the rack. There we go. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to do an armory. We need to capture this maid right here, and we need to interrogate her. After we do that, we open the floodgates. So we are going to redesign the base now, because all we need to do is spend a little bit of money to get that set up. Now that we have these rooms unlocked, we can make a little bit more of a sane setup, because normally you unlock the freezer before you unlock the armory. And we'd like it the other way around. Body bags go away after all. What do you do? Eat them? I don't know what you do with them. There is actually a secret minion in the game, though, where you can throw body bags into a vat of acid, and it will make a special minion, which is awesome. However, that special minion will attack all enemies on sight no matter what, so it's dubious how useful it is. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is lower our minion capacity by 1, because it's going to have to be lowered anyway as we relocate this stuff. So we're going to walk outside, and the first thing we are doing is blowing up this barracks. Oh, thanks for the subscription, Punchy Cat. I very much appreciate it. Oh, and thanks for following, Shadow Priest. Welcome to the flock. And to be Nuke Quebec. I think you can, probably. There are some Canadian missions up in here. East Coast actually doesn't have a whole lot of missions in this game. Most of the missions you can do early on are against Hammer and Smash, because they're the weaker intelligence agencies. From worst to best in general, they go Smash, Smash, Hammer, Anvil, Patriot, Saber. Alright, we took care of that one. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of that freezer quite yet. So what we're going to do is get rid of the control room, because it's in the way of where I want to build. And we're going to do a corridor. So a popular thing to do later is we're going to unlock we're going to unlock a... Oh god, what is it? English is difficult, everybody. We're gonna unlock hotels. Like hotel rooms. And a popular thing is to have a hotel at the beginning of your base so that people go in through a bunch of your valets that can trick them before they get in too deep. We are probably going to do that over here. I don't think we'll do that over here for now. For now, we're going to do probably a barracks setup. So we're going to do some corridor there, and then we're going to open up into a pretty large barracks here. The reason for that is a barracks will have a lot of people in it at all times, and so they'll be there to handle whatever walks in. They'll be there to handle whoever walks in and whatever happens with that. And a barracks is pretty much required anyway, because you're going to need all the lockers. You're going to need somewhere at night for people to get their, what's it called back? Their stamina back. You can just put a door right there. It's not symmetrical. It hurts. There's going to be a lot of not symmetrical. Sorry. All right, and we're going to be removing this little freezer here soon. All right, and we're going to plan this out a little bit more. We want another corridor. We want there to be a reasonable amount of space between where things become obviously, like, full of heat and not. Things that are obviously not on the up and up. So, like, we're going to have an armory all the way down the hall. And it's going to have its own personal freezer for executions. This is going to be something like that. It doesn't need the biggest freezer in the world. If I do something like that, how many could I... shit. Let's change this layout slightly to get more out of this. 83 cookies! That's a number too high for this stream. I like that people are going to come in and they're going to be like, does this guy call his fans cookies? That's fucking weird. I don't. They're the weirdos, I swear. I don't call them that. It's a weird meme because of Mandy.
It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen.
We just got to deal with it. All right, I'm gonna
I have to deal with half the stupid jokes the fans make about me.
Yeah. All right, if I do something more like that. It's a bit of a big freezer, but it doesn't hurt to use that as just our general freezer. I'd love if I could fit more on that wall, but that's fine. It's gonna have to do. And yeah, a setup like that'll do. Yeah, I don't want to block anything off, so that'll have to do for now. Yep, and then another door right there. Just planning out how I want to do this corridor for now. So you want to front load the base with a lot of things that wouldn't generate heat if people were to walk into them. Because, you know, things right inside the door, people are going to get right inside the door. That's just a fact. All right, we'll unpause all of those constructions.
Yeah, but which room is the gym?
We do get a gym later. We just don't have it yet. Well, we get gym equipment later, but I think you put it in the barracks, if memory serves.
Because these guys can't miss leg day.
I can't tell if you're referencing something specific or just making a leg day joke.
I'm just making a leg day joke.
God damn it.
Do your minions even lift, bro?
They will later. Alright, so I'm just gonna line the room with lots of lockers. In fact, let's get rid of this one. For the sake of symmetry for you guys. Because I swear I'm nice.
Modern architecture is shit. You don't want it to look like that.
There we go. There we go. This is not going to house a ton of minions in terms of in terms of beds, but it has shitloads of lockers, and really that's what matters for now. We're probably gonna get rid of some of these later anyway, because I might want to have like a little mess hall right in here so that during the daytime they can eat food, because they can't sleep during the day.